So, good afternoon, all of you. We'll start now. So, this is the particularly IS code. You can see that this is IS 456-2000, plain and reinforced concrete code of practice, CD2, cement and concrete. So, this code will be, we have to just go through this code first of all. And whenever required, you have to just take the references from this code and then we can go ahead. So you can see this is a plain and reinforced concrete code of practice as 456. It's 2000. So what does this consist of? What are the contents in this code? So you can see there is a general. Section 1 is general. Then section 2, that is material, workmanship, inspection and testing. So the references and a specific code related to this particular part is there. And then in that case, you can see that there is a cement, mineral admixture, aggregate, water admixture, reinforcement, storage of material likewise. And then workability, how should be the workability of concrete? What about the durability, concrete mix proportioning? Though exact procedure for mix proportioning or the different parts, you may find it in the different IS code. Then formwork, production of concrete, then assembly of reinforcement, transporting, placing, compaction and curing, then concrete under special conditions, sampling, acceptance criteria, inspection and testing of structure. So this is also included. And now you can see that this is a section 3, general design consideration. So what does this consist of? So whatever design part and how to take the different things related to the design. So you can see the basis for the design. And then there is a loads and forces. And then dead load, live load, imposed load, wind load, earthquake forces, shrinkage, and other combinations you can see in this particular part. Then stability of the structure in the consideration of overturning, sliding, probable variation, moment connection, lateral sway. Then analysis part, this is also included. Then you can able to see that yes, there is a special consideration for beam. The criteria related to effective depth. Then these are the plane section or T beam and L beam, control of deflections, tenderness limit is also there. Then we got here solid slab, continuous over support, monolithic, compression member, reinforcement detailing. So these are separate parts related to the different sections we are going to consider. And then you can able to see that yes, special design requirement for structure member and system. So apart from that, then there are other beams also. So you can see that yes, there is a deep beam, voided, hollow, and rib slabs are there. Concrete corbels are there. And what are the consideration of it? So they are also mentioned. Then apart from that, you can see that yes, what about the flat slab? and the details. Then walls, front walls. Then you got here footings, and you can see this is the section 5 structural design, that is limit state method. So you will be able to see the different parts related to the limit state method especially, and what is the limit state of collapse or serviceability or other limit state, safety and serviceability requirements. Then partial safety factors, whatever we have seen, they are already have been covered from this part itself. Then you got here analysis, then different limit state is there. And for those limit states, suppose the fracture is there, what are the assumptions? Suppose you are going for limit state of collapse, then what are the assumptions? And related to the different members, what are the things? Again, you can see limit set of collapse. Then you got here limit set of collapse. It is for the compression, flexure, shear, torsion. So different effects, because of the different effects, there are different criteria. And you can see then there is also limit set of serviceability, where deflection part, limit set of serviceability cracking is also there. And from where, what are the refereed Indian standards? So these Indian standards have also been referred. And then you also have the earlier working stress method. It is also mentioned there. So there are some things just like water tank. Sometimes you have to go ahead with the working stress method. So you should know that. So it is also mentioned in this part. Working stress method is also there. And in that, what are the different parts related to it? Shear, torsion, and all those things. So related to the working stress method, it has been mentioned. Then calculation of deflection. So if you want to specially calculate the deflection of some part, so what are the different criteria related to it? So it has been there in these annex here. Then slab spanning in two direction, that is called as a two-way slab. Then effective length of the column, crack width, moment of resistance. So these all things have been mentioned in this IS 456 2000. So you can simply Google, and you can simply download this IS code. That is this one, IS 456 2000. And the name of it, plain and reinforced concrete code of practice. So this would be helpful for many times. Apart from that, there is a design aid for reinforced concrete. Design aids are there. Means IS to this IS 456 design aids for reinforced concrete to IS 456. Though the code is there, but design aids, they are the same. So this is also helpful. It is also called as SP16. There are the special codes basically, and this already. So whatever the contents we have seen, so based on those contents, you will see that yes, there are say total design related to the flexure member, or compression member or shear, torsion. So you can see the total design procedure also in this. Well, this is a bigger one having 250 around pages, and then working stress design as well. So we'll first of all go through what exactly this IS 456 code related to the limit state method. So we have seen that yes, limit state method. It is, if you just look at, it is already on the page number 67. So if you just go to the page number 67, so how this particularly limit, this code basically consists of, you should know. So this IS code basically consists of the theory part, and what does that indicate? What is this limit state of serviceability, characteristic load, and the terminologies? If you read it properly, most of the time in the competitive exams, the questions are mostly asked to this IS 456 or even the codal provisions. There are different codal provisions, and yes, what exactly the codal provision related to the IS 456, and especially related to some sections, they most of the time will be able to see the questions related to it. So what we have seen, the characteristic strength of the material, characteristic load. So it has been mentioned in this part, characteristic load, as you are seeing, what is the definition of it, and the related part to it. Design values, yes, you will be able to see the exact design strength. What does that mean? Then partial safety factor we have considered. You can see this. Yes, these are the values here. You can see this is the table number 18. Values of partial safety factor for load. And whenever we want to, sometimes, many times, we go for the software. There are certain softwares available to design or even analysis, just like StatPro. Then you got here ETAP, SAP. So this, with the help of this software, you can able to analyze and design a particularly structure. Many times, people go ahead with that. So in that case, you have to give certain uh, load combinations, and for those load combinations, you have to just check that what exactly this load combination, and what is the value of partial safety factor when you consider limit state of collapse, or limit state of serviceability, dead load. This IL is considered as imposed load, and then there is a WL. You can see that while considering earthquake effect, substitute EL for WL. So either you have to consider EL or WL. Okay, it is according to this. So WL is nothing but the wind load. So you can take this reference of table number 18, from where you can get this partial safety factor for load. Similarly, we can see that yes, As we have seen, this stress strain curve for the concrete. We have seen these stress block parameters as well. So they are all from this itself, and we have mentioned that this is the stress strain curve. We have seen the stress, strain, what are the values 0.002, then 0.0035 FCK, then 0.67 FCK, 67 FCK by gamma m. So all those values you have seen. Also stress block parameters we got. This is called as XU, 0.42 XU, that is compressive force, and all those things. Assumption, you can just look at the assumptions here. Plane sections normal to the axis and plane after bending as well. So this part we already covered. Yes, this one is the XU max by D ratio, Fy. So what is your grade of the steel? So depending upon the grade of the steel, that is called Fy, characteristic strength of the steel, whether it is 250, 415 or 500. So based on it, you got here XU max by D ratio, 0.53, 0.48, 0.46. So this has already been in this IS code itself. From that, we have to just consider that. So if you just look at this, was the limit state theory part that we have mostly covered. What is the assumptions, like general related to the assumptions. Then you also have the assumptions related to the other theory. And if we now just look at from the starting, so we'll be able to understand what does this consist of basically. Since we have to take the reference from it, so it is very important that what exactly the things is mentioned. So sometimes there are certain symbols which you do not understand. So you can directly go through this part. Yes, there are already symbols. Whatever the symbols have been used here in this IS code, they are already mentioned. So if you do not understand, or if you forgotten certain things, that what is this LEX, LEY, or certain B, what is B effective. So they are already mentioned in these symbols, and there you can able to see, or you can just check what does that mean. And mostly we will use the same symbol so that there won't be any confusion. But still, if you're using it, so you can just look at this symbol and what does that consist of. So material, sometimes many a times this is the major question. Many a times Viva questions is asked, what is the grade of ordinary Portland cement? What are the different grades of the ordinary Portland cement? So you can just see these are the grades: 33 grade, 43 grade, 53 grade. So what does that mean? So it means that yes, that is having the kind of that kind of strength this particularly grade is having. So you want to check the code related to that. Yes, the code is IS 269, IS 8112, IS 12269. So these are the codes. Many a times you want to use different kind of cement. So which kind of cement you have to use? So suppose you have to use rapid hardening cement, rapid hardening Portland cement. So these things, basically types of cement, you might have gone through the RCC1 part, and the course related to it. The course related to it. You can just go through it. But according to IS 456, if you want to know that what should that consist of, or if you want to just say that particularly cement, or sometimes you use metakaolin, sometimes you want to use ricer's ash, or even your familiar project. Uh, Most of the time, or in the earlier cases, when it is used to be the lab practical lab experiments, in that case, basically you have to use all those materials. So according to this IS code itself, that you have to check whether it is proper or not, and what should be the content of it, or how should be that particularly material consist of, or what should that consist of. So related to the aggregate, how should be the size of aggregate, what should be the size of aggregate, and all those things. How should be the even pH, water, seawater, permissible limits for solid. That table is there. You can see the grade. You can see the reinforcement properties of concrete. Yes, this table is very important. Grades of concrete. Uh, Grades of concrete. That is table number 2. So this one you can see it's a group. Then the grade designation and specified characteristic compressive strength of 150 mm cube at 28 days in Newton per mm square. So ordinary concrete. So if you are using M10, 15, and 20, so then it is called as a ordinary concrete. So most of the time, we see the ordinary concrete itself. And what does this mean? M10. It has a characteristic strength of 10 Newton per mm. So if you make a cube of 150 mm cube, if you are going to use, and you just uh, take the strength, you just take the strength on the compressive testing machine after 28 days, you if you maintain a proper material for M10 and you make the testing of it, so you should get above this strength, or minimum this kind of strength. M10 should have 10 Newton per mm square. Similar to that, there is a standard concrete. So M25 to M55, if you are using, then that the strength varies from 25 to 55. So then that is called as a characteristic compressive strength, which is having in terms of this standard concrete. So we got here standard concrete. Mostly you can see on the design part or on the site, maximum ordinary concrete is used. Or in some or in a few sites, you may be able to see this M25 or M30. But above that, it is only very high if that particularly structure is of high importance, or structure kind high important structures. You can see the flyover or bridges. In that case, you will be able to see above this M35 or above M40 likewise. But apart from that, if even it depends upon what kind of loading is there, what kind of structural utilization is there. So according to that, you can even go for high strength concrete. You can see you are just using, suppose there is a normal that particularly a bungalow or even apartment, you can see maximum which part, you can see only M10, uh, sorry, not even M10, this M20 or M25 max, this grade, which have the strength of 20 to 25 Newton per mm square. This kind of concrete is most of the time is used, but high strength concrete, just look at the high strength concrete, M60 to M80, even more than that, there is a ultra high strength concrete also there. Above that, M80. So this is called as a high strength concrete, ranges from 60 to 80 Newton per mm square. 60 to 80 Newton per mm square. So that kind of concrete is there. And yes, as I said, these are sometimes basically the Viva questions or the this particularly competitive exam questions are there related to this. Then there's related to the vocabulary of the concrete. How should be the vocabulary? Environment, exposure condition, and according to that, you have to go ahead for the cover. Yes, this part is basically related to or if gone through RCC 1. This part is very much important, that what should be the minimum cement content, maximum water cement ratio, minimum grade of the concrete. Just look at the minimum grade of the concrete. It suggested that it is M15. M15 when if you are using the plain concrete. But if you are using reinforced concrete, what should be the minimum grade? M20. Minimum grade of the concrete should be M20. So you have to use always minimum M20. That is the reinforced concrete if you are going to use. If there is a plain concrete, you are not going to use the reinforcement. So what is meant by plain concrete? So plain concrete is something, yes, there is only concrete. But when you are seeing reinforced concrete, in the reinforced concrete, you will be able to see, yes, there is a reinforcement. There is a reinforcement in the tensile zone. So that is called as reinforced concrete. So you have to use M20. Otherwise, you can use here M15 as well. So where will require the plain concrete? Where do we require this RCC? Sometimes you require the bed concrete also, or where you don't require any kind of reinforcement, just the normal concreting you require. So in that case, you can go ahead with that. And what are the minimum cement content and all those things? So they are mentioned here. You have to just always check minimum cement content kg per meter cube, maximum free water to cement ratio, and with respect to plain concrete, always remember that this part is higher, minimum cement content, while water cement ratio, it is somewhat lower. Some cases it is lower. So this part is basically there are many things related to the formwork and curing. How should be the curing? You can just check. Being a civil engineer, you should know all those things. But since if we just look at each and every aspect, so that may require a lot of time. But what is the major part that we will consider here, and then we'll move towards the direct, the particularly one by one design part. So as you have seen, yes, remember that yes, for the dead load, and what should be the IS code. So for the dead load, if you are to refer that there is a IS code IS 875 part 1, or if you want to use for the imposed load, in that case you can use IS 875 part 2, wind load part 3, and then part 4 it is for the snow load. Yes, you can just look at now. We have seen that what should be the effective span. We have seen this particular parameter. Effective span is to be considered. Just look at this. This is the 22.1 general and then 22.2 effective span. If you are not sure about how to take the effective span, just you have to refer this particular the clause. And yes, while designing, we are going to use this clause, and with the help of this clause, we are going to calculate this effective span. How to take the effective depth of a beam, how to take the effective depth of T beam or L beam, and how to take the effective flange that we will see here. You can see for the deflection, this also part we have seen, yes, suppose there is a deflection criteria. So span to effective depth ratio, what should be the span to effective depth ratio for cantilever simply supported and continuous? This we have seen that yes, according to that, we have to design. We also seen modification factor. This modification factor depend upon the percentage of tension reinforcement as well as this Fs. That's the ratio of 0.5 Fy in times of cross-sectional area required to the provided cross-sectional area ratio. So whatever the things we have considered earlier, so they are already from this IS code itself. Then what are the different consideration for the solid slab and all those things. So from the next lecture onwards, we'll start the actual design, and most preferably the beam, that we will see how to design a beam in the next lecture, right? So we'll stop here. You can just mark your attendance to Google Classroom, and you can just go ahead with the earlier videos if you are in doubt or if you have missed a video, right? So we can stop here. Thank you.